I thought I was like something was wrong with me because I was like addicted to it. Like I couldn't stop, and then I would feel guilty, and I felt like trapped. Like I just couldn't. Like every trip that I made, everything that I did was around food. Like, oh, let's go to this place because there's a restaurant there, or like in social gatherings, it was about the food, and I was always like nervous and anxious about it. The thing that I hated the most was that I didn't feel free. I wasn't happy being a foodie, like what you call foodie, because I was like addicted. Like it wasn't even like a choice anymore. It was just like a compulsive type of thing, and I didn't know how to stop that. I learned with the program, but I didn't know how to. I thought there was just something wrong with me, and I was just gonna live like that.
Hi honeys, it's Emmy. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmy. I'm a nutritionist and I'm the creator of the 8-week Slim on Starch program, where you work with me, your nutrition coach and your mindset coach, so that you can lose weight on a plant-based, starch-based diet. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the link in the down bar. I am so excited to share this video with you. I cannot even tell you. Today, I'm sharing with you my interview with my Slim on Starch client, Kristen, and I don't even want to waste time on the intro because this interview is so unbelievably valuable. Kristen went from 134 pounds down to she's at 109 pounds right now. She is looking absolutely tremendous and feeling incredible. She's such an inspiration. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because you look at Kristen's transformation, and she says this herself. She says, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's great, it worked for her, but it won't work for me. You are going to listen to this interview, and I think that a lot of you watching this video are gonna say, oh my God, that is me. That is exactly what I'm going through right now. She is going to help so many people, and I'm just so excited to share it with you. So this is part 1, where we're talking about life before we started working together. What was she struggling with before? And I think it's so important to lay this foundation so that if you are going through this yourself, click the link in the down bar, because Kristen is absolute proof that there is another side, and it's a lot closer than you think. We just need to team up and make it happen. So part 1 of Kristen's interview, she's gonna lay the foundation and talked about what she struggled with for years and years and years before we started working together. So let's get into it. Oh, and also make sure that you hit subscribe. I upload a new video every Wednesday and Saturday.
My name is Kristen, and I tried many things, but I wanted to get some support for the first time on this because I wasn't doing well on my own, so I thought I could use some help, and I was right about that 100%. So,
well, let's give a quick snapshot of the before and after in terms of your weight, and then also emotionally and mentally. So let's start with just a quick snapshot, and then we'll really dig into it. You are literally a Slim on Starch all-star. You're on the varsity team. So go ahead and show off about what we did through our work together.
So I was 136 pounds, and then the after, I could talk about that. I got to 109 pounds, and so the mindset before Slim on Starch, I was very frustrated and confused. Like frustration and confusion was like my life, because I tried so many things and I just couldn't get it. Like I couldn't get the results, or I would get them and then lose them. So that would cause more frustration. So that was my mindset before that was like my experience before Slim on Starch. For like my whole life, it was always like that. And so yeah, I was very doubtful and very insecure about what I was doing. So yeah, I found so I switched from being very frustrated and being very like confused and not knowing what I was doing and trying things and then failing. I went from that to like having a steady success, like having a foundation and having something that I could rely on. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something long term. I did not want to lose a couple pounds and then gain everything back and then the merry-go-round. I wanted something that I could have forever. So it gave me peace. It gave me like a steady, consistent thing that I could always rely on. Oh, not only for weight loss, but also for like my mindset, for peace of mind, that I don't have to worry about food anymore 24/7. I could just Like it just gave me so much peace. So that was the best part in the mindset aspect and confidence. But that was like the best thing I got from this program was confidence. Just so much confidence that so yeah, that was the mindset part.
And I mean, how could you not be confident when you look at the photos that you've been posting in the group? You just look incredible, and you can see it in your face as well. And I know that fashion is something that's really important to you, and you've been able to explore that and to wear the clothes that you want to wear now. And we'll get into all that good stuff now later. But now let's talk about let's dig into what life was like before and what you were struggling with before when you came to me.
Okay, so my biggest struggle was that I was like really trapped with the pleasure of food. Like I thought I was like something was wrong with me because I was like addicted to it. Like I couldn't stop, and then I would feel guilty and I felt like trapped. Like I just couldn't, like every trip that I made, everything that I did was around food. Like, oh, let's go to this place because there's a restaurant there. Or like in social gatherings, it was about the food. And I was always like nervous and anxious around food. And if I didn't get like my junk food fix, I was cranky and I wasn't happy. The thing that I hated the most was that I didn't feel free. I wasn't happy being a foodie, like what you call foodie, because I was like addicted. Like it wasn't even like a choice anymore. It was just like a compulsive type of thing. And I didn't know how to stop that. I learned with the program, but I didn't know how to. I thought there was just something wrong with me, and I was just gonna live like that. Like, so yeah, that was like the biggest problem for me
Yeah,
before.
I know. I hear that a lot. A lot of people talk about how they live for their cheat day or they are living for vacation and they go on Yelp and plan out all of the restaurants that they're going to go to. And literally everything just revolves around food.
Yeah, exactly. It was horrible. I didn't want to live like that because I wanted to have other things. Like I wanted to like go out there and just live life and experience pleasure in other ways, and it was always about food. I couldn't think of anything else. Either I was feeling guilty and worried about food, or I was like obsessing thinking about my next meal, and like it was too much. It was horrible.
Was that always the case, Kristen? You know, growing up, was that the case or did it start when you started dieting? When did that begin?
So when I was a child, like before 7 years old, I wasn't obsessed with food at all. I was just I had other ways of creating pleasure, like toys and playing and jumping around, and I was very hyper, and that was like not a problem. But then when I became like 9 years old, around there, um I started to like diet. Like I started to put on weight, and then I started to diet and exercise like for hours a day. That's when it started at 9 years old, and then it became like a problem eventually because I couldn't hold back on eating. Like I just like the more I would diet, the hungrier and more like obsessed I got with food. Now I understand why. You explain why, but back then I was confused. I'm like, why is it that the harder I try, the more out of control I am? And it was a struggle. Like all my life after that was just dieting, over exercising, gaining weight, losing weight, and it was just up and down, up and down, up and down.
That's
So yeah.
that's a very difficult place to be, especially because like you said, you remembered a time when that wasn't the case. And you're like, how do I get myself out of this?
And I couldn't. And I felt trapped and frustrated and like powerless and defeated. And I was just like, why can't, if I want to be fit and healthy, why can't I achieve the results? Like, even when I would exercise for hours a day, my weight still wouldn't show. Like, on the mirror, I wouldn't look like a fit person. And I was just like, what? Like, maybe it's my DNA. Maybe I used to tell myself that it's just my DNA that I'm supposed to be like overweight or something. Or, but that's not true. I discovered that I have an athletic body, that I have broad shoulders and narrow hips, and I didn't know that until I started eating correct for my body, like healthy. I didn't even know that what my body structure had the potential to be. I didn't know like I had an athletic body type until now. I thought I was just always like soft and pudgy, like chubby or whatever. And yeah, so that was crazy.
So what did you try to get yourself out of it? To try to relax around food and to lose weight and to just get yourself back to not only a slim body, but also that relaxed mindset around food. What did you try?
To try to get out of it, I just kept trying different diets. And then I would relapse. I would go back to, and I understand why now. You explain why I was failing, and I have so much like compassion for myself now, because before I used to like tell myself, "Are you serious? Why can't you do this?" And now it's like, well, it was basically impossible. Now you explained why I was failing and that I wasn't supposed to succeed, like dieting, like because it's not meant to be successful when you like starve yourself, you know?
It's a half of a life. It's not a full life.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're successful in dieting, that's all you're successful in. There's nothing else happening, because that's all the brain space goes toward that. So you can probably attest to those little bits of time where you were quote unquote successful with dieting. You weren't exploring fashion. You weren't making the most out of yourself in your relationship. All the other facets in your life had to suffer.
Yeah, I was just exercising. I remember when I was like 10 years old, my mom would call me from her job and she'd be like, oh, Kristen, she's exercising. And everyone knew me for like, oh, she's running, she's on the treadmill, or she's, you know, working out all the time. Imagine as a 10-year-old just working out from home. Like, I mean, that's intense. Like, you shouldn't have to like dedicate your life to like running on the treadmill, because it wasn't even like it wasn't even like a sport. It was just something I was doing to control my weight.
Mm.
So yeah, and my whole life was about that. Just fitness, no friends. Just I didn't have time for that. Just like school and fitness. Like it was not good. So that's what I did to control my. That's what I did to like try to remedy my confusion with diet and my situation.
Mm.
And but it wasn't working. Like it was consuming me. You know?
So you tried exercise as a means of weight loss, weight management. What did you try in terms of dieting?
Oh, in terms of dieting, that was really bad because I just tried to not eat as much. Like when I was slim and dieting, I was slim and dieting because I was restricting. Like I was trying not to eat. I was just like even if I was like really hungry and I felt like my stomach burning and stuff, I would just be like, "Oh, I'm just going to distract myself." And I felt like dizzy and bad and cranky, but like I'm like, but if I eat, then I'm going to gain weight, and it's just like it was a constant like struggle, and I never really felt like I could have enough energy if I wanted to look a certain way. Like I couldn't be happy and thin. Like I had to choose between like happiness and like looking the way I wanted to look. I couldn't have both, and I had to be obsessed with working out also on top of that, on top of being hungry and cranky. And then one day I exploded and I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And I told you about that. I got to in my 20s, I'm like, I can't live like this. I'm just gonna gain weight and I'm just gonna eat because I feel horrible. Like I feel miserable, even though I look okay in the mirror, but I feel miserable. So I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna go on a mindset health journey. And I became vegan and I gained more weight, so much more weight. That's when I really gained weight a lot. Like I'd never been that weight before, 140 pounds. Then I got to 136. That's when I
And
asked
can you
for
give
help.
your height for reference?
Yes, I'm 5'2".
Mhm.
I'm really short. So like 5 pounds less or more, it's a big difference for me. Like so 140 pounds for somebody like me, I mean in the pictures you will see that I was obviously overweight. So yeah.
And
So it was
I'm so happy that you just verbalized that, Kristen. You get to this point where you're driving yourself bananas, exercising, restricting calories, you're just going nuts and it's not working. It's not working, but you're still stuck in it. And it's so bizarre because you can look back on it and be like, what was I doing? But while you were doing it, it's like you can't stop. And then you get to the point where you realize, like, screw it, because this isn't a happy life. I don't like what I look like, even if the number on the scale is low, your mind is just, it's body dysmorphia. You know, your mind is just, you're not you. So you're driving yourself crazy, and you get to this point where you're like, screw it, I may as well just be happy. And then the number on the scale went up. So now we're at the point in your journey where you're vegan, you've gained a bunch of weight, you're at like 140, 5'2". What happens next?
If that is not the best cliffhanger of all time, then I don't know what is. Again, if you identify with Kristen's story, then please click the link in the down bar so that we can team up and get you to the other side of this, and you can meet Kristen in the community. Everybody, please say thank you to Kristen for doing this, because I think she is such an inspiration and just an incredible human being. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you either on our phone call or I'll see you in the next video.